Joe Dumars, Hall of Famer, he's got a new title. Sounds really important. The NBA Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations. All right, Joe, what exactly does that mean?
I don't know. It sounds important, though. It does sound important, Dan. A little bit of everything, Dan. A little bit of everything. Just overseeing the game, put rule changes, things that are happening on the court, things that are happening with teams. You just kind of deal with everything that kind of comes in on your desk on a daily basis.
What's the one rule change that we need to keep an eye on this season?
There's something called a transition take foul, where guys were just grabbing the guys in the middle of the fast break and just stopping the fast break and just grabbing the guys. And so 1,700 of those plays last year.
Wow.
Over the course of the NBA season, 1,700,
wow.
Where the fast breaks were just stopped, Dan. And so, like that's a bad look. It's not the spirit of the game. So we take that out. And, even if you have 200 of them this year, then that's 1,500 more fast breaks that you're going to see. So,
but how do you take it out of the game, Joe?
So you take it out by you give a free throw and the ball out of bounds. Like you reward the offensive team when they do that now. And so what I've seen, like the first couple of games, guys, their reflex, Dan, is to do it like they've been, and you see guys stop, and the fast break keeps going. And you go, okay, yeah, I think the rule is working.
Do you send a video around? Do you have to? Everybody has a chance to understand exactly what you're talking about?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. You send video around, you show them, like, look, and here's what happens too, Dan. Like, Dan, when you put a rule like this in, what ends up happening, so we were at the coaches meeting, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and we're talking about this. And the first thing Doc Rivers says is, okay, I just got to teach my guys how to foul in the open court without making it look obvious. So what we say is, yeah, just tell the guys to go for a steal, right?
Okay.
Like you have to legitimately go for a steal, like you're gonna get the ball. And if you foul, okay, it's just a normal foul. So that's what kind of happens in situations. But you're right about the video. You send video around, and that's how you hammer home the point.
What is traveling now?
That's a great question. I don't know. It's it should be more than two steps.
Joe, you're supposed to know.
Well, it should be. Hey, Dan. It should.
I know what it should be.
It should be no more than two steps, is what I would say. That's my official answer.
Because Jordan got away with it, but that was Jordan. Now everybody, these step backs and take a couple of hops and that kind of stuff. Remember when carrying the ball was a turnover, Joe?
I do remember that. I do remember. I remember when three steps was traveling and carrying the ball was called. So Dan, you and I are the same era. So we saw some different things.
But what happens when they go, we're not going to call carrying? Was it John Stockton or Allen Iverson who may have started this?
I never thought about that. Damn, you're right. You know what? You may be right about that. I don't know, but I do know that it's a point of emphasis. That's for sure. Like internally, it's a point of emphasis about look, we have to enforce these rules. We cannot continue to allow this to get further and further away from us. And that's the real answer, Dan. It's like internally, it's like, hey, look, we got to start enforcing this because, you see it. Like if you have eyes, you see what's happening. You go, come on. Like we can't allow that to continue to go on.
He's Joe Dumars, Hall of Famer, won 2 championships with the Pistons, now the NBA Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations. How did you survive with Jordan? Like Michael Jordan, it seems like he likes you. Can't say the same about some of your former teammates there. So why is it Mike likes you and may not like Isaiah or Bill Laimbeer or Matt Mahorn or any of those guys?
So I'll pass on why he doesn't like them or whatever, but I will say this. That he and I matched up against each other for 14 straight years. In those 14 years, never once did he try to trash talk me, and never once did I try to trash talk him. It was toe to toe, nose to nose for 14 straight years, and we never said a negative word to each other on the court. I respected him. Those years that we beat them, Dan, he'd walk over every single time shake my hand, and go, "Good luck in the finals, man." And I could see he was devastated with the loss. We beat them, they beat us, and I stopped as we were walking off the court and shook his hand and said, "Good luck in the finals." So I think it was just mutual respect. It's like I never tried to trash talk him. He never did that with me. And so we ended up having a real mutual respect for each other.
Did you want him to trash talk you just a little bit?
No. No. He didn't need to. Like he was that good. Like just just on a different level, man. And
okay, what goes through your mind though, Joe? When what's the scouting report of Jordan? What did you try to get Jordan to do?
Try to get him drive left as much as possible. Try to maybe strip him before he gets up airborne. The scouting report, I don't know. I didn't put a whole lot into scouting reports because it wasn't like he was going to come out and do the same thing. Like like I said, and he's just a different level. And listen. I'll say this to you, Dan. There were nights that on the court that he would do something so incredible. And my thing was to never show any emotion one way or the other, whether he did something great or not. But I can tell you many a nights I ran back down the court after he's done something incredible. And internally I'm saying, are you effing kidding me? I'm like, in my mind, I'm like running like stoic, nothing on my face. But in my mind, I'm saying, there's no damn way that guy just did that, man. So, no, incredible. And I always gave him that respect. I always showed him tremendous respect. He showed me respect, and so it was mutual on both sides.
How many times were you you got Dennis Rodman? You got you got the original. You know.
Yep. Yeah.
You didn't get the different Dennis Rodman there. And I try to tell people how incredibly athletic Dennis was. And boundless amounts of energy. And you could put him on Worthy or put him on Bird, and he didn't care about scoring. Like they don't make players like that anymore, Joe.
He was one of one. He was one of one, Dan. Dan, he's the only guy I know truly that I can say personally, truly, that I feel could guard 1 through 5. Because there were nights he guarded Magic when I wasn't guarding Magic. There was nights he guarded Mike. Then he'd guard Bird, all the small forwards. Then he would guard Mikhail. I've seen him guard Olajuwon. This guy, I saw him guard every single position at an elite level. So, I mean, like, he was one of one, man. Like the most freakish, different athlete that I've ever played with.
But you didn't have much off the court with Dennis back with the Bad Boys.
We had different lifestyles. we had different lifestyles.
Wait, but he wasn't like he was with the Bulls.
You're right about that. You're right about that. He wasn't, but he was, he was still different, different lifestyles. The crowds he hung out with, I didn't hang out with. But you're right, Dan, to make that point that he was a different player in person in Chicago than he was in Detroit.
Did your family have a problem with you being labeled a bad boy just because it's guilt by association? You didn't play like a bad boy. You didn't act like a bad boy.
So, no, they didn't. You know why, Dan? And you would know this. I never tried to act like that. Even in all my years playing, I never tried to present myself as I'm a bad boy. Like, I played hard, went at it hard, nose to nose with guys, physical. But I never tried to, like, create this persona that, hey, I'm a bad. I've always marched to my own beat. I've been comfortable in my own skin. I don't give in to peer pressure that I have to act a certain way. So I never, and you were around it, so like I never acted like that. So it my family knew that, like, look, I'm gonna be me, and peer pressure doesn't faze me.
How would the Pistons have reacted to what happened with the Golden State Warriors with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole?
Do you mean how did we react when that happened?
Yeah. So when Isaiah hits Lane Beer, how did you guys react?
Hey, break that up, fellas. break that up, fellas. Stop, man. I mean, like, look.
How often did it happen, though, where punches were landed, not thrown, but punches?
let's say today that when you saw that with Draymond and stuff, it shocked everybody, and because people don't normally see it, Dan,
Yeah.
and and it doesn't happen today. It just doesn't happen in today's NBA. No one really throws punches. Nobody definitely don't land punches. So I think that's why it was such a big story with our teams. You know, it was a different era, man, and so I this is what I've said. Like people were trying to say, damn, people were trying to say, oh, that happens all the time. And I'm like, when? What are you talking about? Like in the 90s, it happened all the time. It doesn't happen all the time now. But with my teams, it was a regular occurrence, man. Like, there was scuffles and guys toe to toe and may throw a blow or whatever. It was a lot more then than it is now. And I really do believe that's why people reacted the way they did now, because you just don't see it anymore.
Yeah, I agree. You hear about it.
You hear about scuffles. Yeah, you're right.
Give me your Larry Bird story.
I don't really have one. I never guarded him. I saw him talking to Dennis, but I don't know what Dennis is saying something to him. He's saying something to Dennis. But I will say this, though. Someone asked me the other day, they said, it's the toughest arena you had to play in. And I said, Garden, Boston. And so why? Because of the air conditioning, they turn it on in the winter and they turn the heat on in the summer. I said, yeah, all of that. I said, but please, let's not forget how incredible Bird and the Celtics were in their prime. I said, they were almost impossible to go in there and beat. And they said, why? I said, because you could not make a mistake with them. If you turn your head or you don't rotate right on time or whatever it was, those guys made you play. And it was him. Like he was a savant on the court, like just a savant, like 2 plays ahead on everything. And so I was just talking about this maybe 3 or 4 days ago, how hard it was to go into Boston and beat a team when Bird is in his prime.
And then you had the inbounds pass that Bird steals that.
That goes back to my savant statement. Like just knowing where to be, seeing what's happening, and anticipating, and boom, he jumps right in and steals the ball.
Does any of this, like if you see Bird or Jordan, like do you guys talk, war stories?
Not really. Just how are you? What's been going on, man? How are things going? We don't really get into the war stories.
And grudges. You don't hold. Do you hold a grudge against anybody?
No. I wasn't that guy, man. I wasn't that dude that was in beefs with guys. Like I was in LA and I ran into Scottie Pippen, and man, we laughed and hugged and had a great talk. And I got along with guys, man. I got along competed hard against them, went toe to toe, nose to nose with guys. But no grudges, man. Life is good.
I agree. What's the coolest thing in your office there?
I don't know. I got this picture. Can you see the picture? No, you can't see the pictures behind me. But I got a picture that when I got here, it's like, hey, we can put any pictures you want up in your office. And what I put up was, ironically, I said, I want a Wilt and Bill Russell picture. They said, really? Most people got Martin. I said, nah, I want to pay homage to some of these like legends, like real giants. So I have a picture. I have 2 pictures, Dan, and you'll appreciate this. I got Wilt and Russell, and then I have a picture. I said, I want a picture of another guy in my office, and they said, who? I said, Gus Williams. And they were like, some young guy was like, who is that? I said, son, you got to Google, man. And he's like, who is that? I said, dude, you got to Google this guy. And he's like, what do you mean, Jody? And I was like, this was one of my favorite players when I was in high school. So I got a picture of Gus Williams in my office.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are you the best basketball player at the NBA office?
I used to be. I think so. I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody else in here. I'm looking around. I think I might still hold that title.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So Adam Silver is, how's his jumper?
I don't know. I've not seen him shoot a jumper yet. I have not seen him shoot.
When's the last time you shot a basketball?
Man, what a great question. Well, I don't know. It had to be a few years ago, but I said this, and I say this to people, and they find it hard to believe. So my last game, we're playing in Atlanta. Grant Hill is sitting next to me in the locker room. I said, G, after this game, I am done. He said, I know you're retiring. I said, no, no, no. That's not what I mean. He said, what do you mean? I said, we're getting dressed, getting ready for the game. I said, I will never play in another basketball game. He said, you're never going to play in another basketball? He said, not pick up enough. Nope, ever. Then when I left the court that night, I've never played again.
Patrick Ewing,
never.
Ewing told me the same thing, that he
Yep.
said his last game, that's it. I have no interest in playing basketball ever again.
Absolutely. And you know who else told me that? And they did it for a while too. It was Bjorn Borg.
Yeah.
Borg told me that when he first retired, he had no interest in ever picking up a racket again. And so I just know there are some of us who are like that. Like, it's done, it's over. I'm not trying to relive like, oh, the glory days. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I compartmentalize it. I put it in a box. I sit it on the counter and go, man, it was great, but I'm done, you know?
Could you take Jordan right now, one-on-one?
No. No. No.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm positive of this. I'm really positive of this. No.
Because you don't want Mike to hear that Joe Dumars said he thinks that...
No. Mike can have the 59-year-old title. It's him. He's got it. He's got it.
Hey, congrats on the job there, and thanks for joining us. Always great to talk
Thanks,
to you.
Dan. I appreciate you, man. Thanks, brother.
That's Joe Dumars, Hall of Famer. Won 2 titles with the Pistons. He was the Finals MVP in 1989.